Hi everybody, this is Dr. J and I'm down in my basement and I want to talk about air quality. Two most important things in your house, air and the water. This is not a video for water filtration or talking about water. Obviously we don't want any wet basements or any areas that mold can grow. But one of the most important things besides water of a house is air quality. Whether it's a hot steamy summer or it's a cold winter, and all that you do is you seal up the house, you close the windows, you put plastic covering over it so the drafts don't come through. If you have an older home, all these different things we do to seal up to keep the heat in, or if it's the summertime to keep the cool in. Problem is we don't get air circulation, and so I live in a house that's right now that's about 19 years old. We just needed to replace the furnace, and so we're looking into some air exchanging options, and so I want to explain what I did to my own home. Hopefully it'll help you in your journey as you're looking to better increase the quality of air in your house. So besides doing obviously the newer furnace, which is a lot more energy efficient than our old one, we threw an extra filter, a little bit thicker, a MERV 16 filter, and then it's got a UV light afterward as it's going through. One of our decisions, our furnace was not quite, it didn't stop on us, but because of the cost difference of running the fan or the auto fan, more often the cost was way less with a newer one than it was with an older one, and some of the incentives, that's why we did the furnace brand new. But then obviously we just put a thicker filtration for the whole house, obviously, and then UV light. Maybe a little excessive in some people's mind, but again, that's the lifestyle that I live. I want to have a high level to bring you up. I can't be down here and expect you to come up this end. The most important thing, though, besides obviously furnace and filtration, is this guy back here. This is an ERV, an energy recovery ventilation. They also make HRVs, which is heat recovery ventilation. We had a choice to make. Living in Wisconsin, do we go with ERV, do we go with HRV? And this was something that I learned from the heating and cooling guys. I talked to multiple, asked them different things. They had different kinds that they recommended. We ended up buying the Renew Air ERV, which is energy recovery ventilator, for the simple reason that most ERVs you don't want to use in the mid to northern half of the United States based on how cold it gets, except this one was okay. So unless you get a Renew Air, most likely you'll probably get an HRV, but we wanted to go with the ERV. And so I'm going to open this up just to explain what exactly this is, as you're probably lost right now. That's okay. So what this does is this takes air from outside, brings it into the house, and takes stale air from the inside and brings it out. And so basically it brings fresh air into your house and stale air, which is it usually will take from the basement and the first floor. It'll take the stale air and suck it out. That way you constantly have some fresh air coming to the home. The problem is when it's really hot out, the air obviously you're pumping in the house is really hot, and when it's cold outside, the air you pump into your house is really cold, which obviously you're trying to do the opposite with the house. And this is where the ERV or an HRV comes in. Is basically what it does is it takes air from the outside and it goes through this filtration and pumps it into the house. Now we're taking air from the house and we're putting it through here, and what you can see is basically it's crisscrossing. As it crisscrosses, what happens is the cold air, let's say it's winter time, the cold air warms up closer to what the indoor air is as it's entering the home. Or if it's summertime, what happens is that the hot air crisscrosses with the cooler air leaving the house, and it helps to basically merge those temperatures, which helps to really, from you pumping just from opening a window up on one side of your house, the other house, and other side, and just having that go in. This is a very nice thing to do to help, obviously, with air freshness. The cool thing about this as well, too, first of all, you need to clean the filters every 3 months. So we've got a sticky right here. We just date it for the time. So last time, well, it was about 2 months ago. So I got another month before I clean it. All you do is you take this filter out, rinse it, let it dry, put it back in, and that's it as far as this. You can just vacuum these combs here. So, but again, the premise, air from outside coming in, air from inside going out, crisscrossing to help kind of merge temperatures. They also come with its own controller, so you can set it for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, or 100%. And that's the amount of time that it'll run in an hour. So if you put it to 100%, it's always going to run. If you set it to 50%, it's only going to run 30 minutes out of 60 minutes. The key when you're doing this, because this is separate than the furnace, and your heating and cooling guys will explain all this and help you with this. If you need a reference, I can get you one of somebody I use locally here. But you have to have the auto fan on, basically, or the fan on your furnace, because that's what's pumping, that's what's controlling all the vents. This is a separate thing that goes into that duct system. So, and then just snap this back together here, and then it'll kick back on when I turn it back on upstairs. Another thing that actually we got with our new furnace, just as a side note, I love technology when it can work toward us, and obviously I'm all over the health thing, is they actually have Wi-Fi controlled thermostats, which means that you can check your house temperature from anywhere, I mean, as long as you have internet access. So you could, for instance, my mom from Minnesota was visiting last winter, and then came back home, and her house was 42 degrees. Her furnace shut off on her, and she had no idea. She was gone for a week. So one thing that you could do is you could check your thermostat at your house, even if you're not at your house, and just see the temperature, just in case for some reason your furnace stopped working. You can check in on that. So a lot of cool things that are out there. I would definitely recommend finding a trusted heating, air conditioning person that you can deal with, because again, the two most important things about your house is the air and the water. And the EPA right now states that your house is about 2 to 5 times more toxic than the outdoor air, which means really we don't want to tightly seal up our houses without any fresh air. We want to get the fresh air in there. They've even shown that up to 100 times more toxic than the outdoor air. So EPA is really pushing for us to understand chemical usage inside the house, making sure we have proper air filtration, and this is definitely something that I absolutely love. I've noticed a difference in my house, and I hope you go this route as well too.